Now let's have a look at the ASP and we'll start with early years. Now please bear in mind early years gets updated later in the ASP than Key Stage 2 and Key Stage 1, typically in December or January. So make sure you know which year you're looking at. So here we have the percentage of pupils achieving a good level of development. So there are 17 early learning goals, and this is the percentage of pupils who have got an expected or exceeding in the first 12, which includes reading, writing, and the 2 maths ELGs. You have the number of pupils, the school average, national average, and the local authority average. And whilst that last information, the local authority average, is interesting, I have not seen any inspector refer to the local authority average, and the Ofsted Inspection Handbook refers to the national averages only. So it's useful for information, but Ofsted probably won't use it. It's there as a bar chart because that's what the DFE's customer feedback showed was the best way to present it, but you can view it as a table if you click on View as Table. You can also print the page, not just nowadays to the printer, but you can also save it as a PDF. Now, if I click on Explore Data in Detail, we get a lot more detail. So we have 5 different cohort groups for early years. All, boy, girl, ever 6 free school meal. So those are pupils who have claimed free school meals in the last 6 years. And none ever 6 free school meals. So those who haven't. We have the cohort size, number of pupils, your school percentage, and the national benchmark. Notice it doesn't say the national average because we're comparing all pupils against the national all, boys against boys, girls against girls. You'll notice there's a 14% gap there. And your ever 6 free school meals, pupils, we are comparing against your average for the national non ever 6 free school meals. You remember paragraphs 192, 193 of the Ofsted Inspection Handbook says we will compare your disadvantaged pupils with the other pupils nationally. And you can tell it's a national non-disadvantaged in 2 ways. First of all, you'll notice that the average is higher than the average for all pupils. So we're clearly comparing with a national other. Secondly, these question marks, these are hyperlinks. You can click on it and get information about what is being measured. And needless to say, your non-ever 6 free school meals are being compared with the national non-ever 6 free school meals. So these 2 national averages or national benchmarks are the same. And then we have the 17 early learning goals with your school percentage and the national average for or national benchmark for that one particular early learning goal. When I'm asked to go into a school to talk about early years with their figures, the first thing I do is I have a look at the good level of development and I'll have a look at the percentage for writing, because generally there is a high correlation between good level of development and writing. Writing is the hardest one to get at early years, then it's reading, and then it's the 2 maths ELGs. And that's the analysis that you see in the ASP. So what do Ofsted inspectors actually look for? Well, if you go to our website, DAISI Education, you can see that we have an Ofsted inspection blog. And for early years, you see that very few inspectors, actually talk about early years, that I haven't actually made an entry for it. Out of the 50 Ofsted inspection judgments that I've read for this blog, only 5 referred at all to early years, and they did so looking at good level of development. So whilst all of this is interesting, and indeed you should know about each of these ELGs for your school, especially the literacy and numeracy ones, Ofsted seems to be looking more at the early years than any of the others. However, there may be an increased emphasis in future years on reading in the 2019 Ofsted inspection framework. So that is how ASP presents it. In the next video, we'll have a look at some points to ponder about early years. Here are some points to ponder about the early years. So these are questions which have been taken from official ofsted documents. How does your school moderate your baseline entry? So you can see that some of these questions you are required to go outside of the ASP and the IDSR. Is it secure? Is it based on sound evidence? Were children well enough prepared, that's official Ofsted terminology, for year one? In other words, did they achieve a good level of development? How well did they do, especially in literacy and maths? What about your free school meal children? Did they achieve as well as the non-free school meal children nationally? And if not, what approaches are in place now to raise the attainment of free school meal children? What progress do children make in early years for each area of the curriculum? What is attainment on exit like? So what Ofsted are looking for is, have they not just made the expected progress, but have they made more? For example, if children entered below average, are they in line with national average by the time that they end early years and go into year one? Alternatively, if they enter in line with age-related expectations, are they above national? Have they got some exceedings by the time they enter year one? Are there any gender differences both on entry and exit? The difference in national, of course, is around 14% between boys and girls. Are there any other gaps between groups? How is transition from reception to year one managed? What records are passed on? What is your school doing to close any gaps between girls and boys? And what plans does your school have to raise the percentage of pupils in an ELG in literacy and maths? Are these areas identified on the action plan? And what is the school doing to help free school meal pupils achieve? So these are some points to ponder for early years. In the next video, we'll have a look at phonics. Thank you very much for watching this video. Why not like us and subscribe to this channel? And why not subscribe to our free premium mailing list, where you can get 10% off our best prices and advance notice on what's happening.